We've got an update on Alaric Jackson and Matthew Stafford, and what are the hardest cuts the Rams are going to have to make? How will that 53-man roster look? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Join the party, getting close to 19,000 subs. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you're an everyday viewer, everyday listener, and you want to support the channel, hit the like button and drop a comment down below. My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade. 24/7 sports, SI, Bleach Report, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. The People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers, on vacay this week. He will be back next week. But we've got a jam-packed show. It's getting real, Ramily. The 53-man roster will be finalized tomorrow. We've got some cuts they've already made, some ones they're going to have to. We also have an update on Alaric Jackson and Matthew Stafford. Sean McVay talks about a very impressive rookie and the role that he could have for this team. They're going to be a game changer. But let's get into the latest news. So the Rams are cutting outside linebacker Brennan Jackson, who's a fifth-round pick last year. He played in just 7 games. He had 3 tackles as a rookie, and he's gone. And he's the first kind of, I would say, surprise-ish cut. I mean, I think that if you crunch the numbers, you saw this one coming. But I think you look at the draft capital, 5th-round pick in 2024, did not play very much as a rookie, didn't show enough of that flash, enough of that pop during training camp, didn't make enough plays during the preseason to demand a roster spot. You've got to make yourself undeniable when you're at that part of the roster. When you're on the bubble, if you don't go above and beyond with trying to impress your coaches, trying to make it known that you need to be on this roster, it's going to be difficult unless you've done it in the regular season. Last season, he played in 7 games. He had 3 total tackles, like I said. He didn't have a sack, didn't hit the quarterback once, didn't have a TFL in the 47 defensive snaps that he did play. The preseason, he did have 3 sacks, but if you kind of go back and review the film, he wasn't winning a lot of his one-on-ones. He wasn't getting consistent pressure, and he only got 3 pressures on 63 pass rush attempts. So with Jackson being cut, well, that opens the door and solidifies the spot likely for Nick Hampton. He is on the squad after the final preseason game, and now the Rams are going to have to go from 12 total players, and they still have to have 25 players cut before the deadline on Tuesday. So the roster is at 78 with 24 hours left to go. So Sean McVay did say after the practice Monday that the Rams do know who's going to be on the 53-man roster, but they have not made anything official. So all of the conversations have been had. All of the spots have been filled. It's not like they're in the war room right now going back and forth trying to argue for which guy should make it. No, the roster is set. It just hasn't been officially revealed yet. Sean McVay said when he was asked if the roster was set after practice today, he said, I do, yeah. Today's practice, it kind of confirmed this was the last physical evaluation that we had until we have to make cuts tomorrow. But yes, I do know what our 53 is going to be. So let's start on a roster projection. One of my favorite things to get into. We will start with the most important position in professional sports. That is the quarterback spot. And the quarterback spot is locked up by 2 members for sure. You got Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then a third who it wasn't a guarantee heading into preseason. It wasn't a guarantee heading into training camp. But with his play, with the trust that he's earned, with the growth and the big step forward that he's made, Stetson Bennett, you are on the 53-man roster. And the player that the Rams are going to cut is Dresser Wynn. Dresser did not win a spot on that 53-man roster. And the number one sign you got to look at for Stetson Bennett is the fact that he did not play in the Rams' final preseason game. That is a great indication that he's going to make the team. The Rams haven't confirmed it yet, but I don't think there's any way with the way he's played that you could cut him. If you do, there will be teams that will be calling and giving him an opportunity. And I think on top of everything else, yes, you're feeling better about Matthew Stafford today than you were weeks ago, but with the questions about Matthew Stafford, that elevated Stetson Bennett's chances, that increased the likelihood that he would be on this team. All he had to do was prove that he was worth it, and he's done that. So to me, it's the feel-good story. It is. It's the feel-good story of the preseason. Is Stetson Bennett rooting for the guy? Every time you doubt him, every time you doubt him, he just comes creeping and crawling back. And that's what this guy has done throughout his career, and I'm not surprised that he's doing it with the Los Angeles Rams. And then there's the running back spot. Let's talk about the locks. Kyren Williams, you signed an extension. It's a good chance he's going to make the squad. Blake Corum, he's on. Jarquez Hunter, he's going to be their change of pace back. He's on. This was one of the tougher ones because of how he's played during the preseason, but you got to say Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader, yes, he's had some moments. There's no doubt about it, but Cody Schrader is not going to make the 53-man roster. He's just not. I mean, you don't see a way how they could keep 4 running backs and the rest of those guys. I mean, when you look at Kyren Williams last year, think about this. Kyren Williams last year, he accounted for 43% of the Rams' total touches in 2024. So I think that tells you a couple things. 1, they trust Kyren Williams. 2, they like the production he brings. But 3, that a capable backup is going to have an opportunity because they want to protect their asset in Kyren. They want to keep him fresh for the postseason. I think that you are going to see more Blake Corum to try to take some of the workload off of Kyren Williams' back. And then Cody Schrader, I think that in a lot of years with his performance, that he probably would have made this 53-man roster, but the Rams are keeping 3 quarterbacks. They're likely going to keep 6 receivers. They're likely going to keep 4 tight ends. So if you look at those numbers, the way things balance out, you're probably going to just keep 3 running backs. And I think that the casualty is going to be Cody Schrader, that he will not be on this 53-man roster. And I think, too, he did not perform well in the Rams' final preseason game, and he also got a lot of time. So there's a couple of things in play there. He was playing significantly, so that tells you he wasn't locked to make the roster, and he didn't do that much with his time. He got 9 carries that led the team, had just 13 yards, a 1.4 average, had a 7-yard long. So Cody Schrader put some nice film on tape, could get some opportunities. Practice squad is always nice. Get that $12K a week, whatever it is. And, as much as they would like to keep on their roster, they just have more needs at other positions that they could use some depth. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, let's be honest. Like Jarquez Hunter, he could start on some teams if everything breaks right for him. Blake Corum could start on some teams. Kyren Williams, we know, is a top 10 running back. So when all 3 of your running backs are starting caliber, well, that kind of makes it more difficult for a 4th running back to make the squad. Okay, coming up next, we're going to continue with this 53-man roster prediction. Also, we're going to update on Matthew Stafford and Alaric Jackson, and Sean McVay talks some Terrence Ferguson. It's one thing I've been thinking about all preseason long. I want to see some 12 personnel. I want to see a flex tight end. I want to see more offense. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. This episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Rugia. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them, but if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rue Get Ready. Rue Get Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rue Get's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rue Get's might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. I love that it's completely online. Rue Get connects you with a board-certified doctor and ships your treatment discreetly to your door. You can even read real customer reviews on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to RueGet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's RuGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rue Get website for full safety information. This episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. And for me, my MVP on the season, I got to go Josh Allen. I think the MVP will be Josh Allen once again. I'm buying into the fact that there is this magic in Buffalo. They're moving into a new stadium. So can the Bills find a way to have that magic moment? And right now, Josh Allen is a plus 600 to win MVP. The best odds are Lamar Jackson at plus 430. I kind of think Jaden Daniels is interesting, but I'm not so sure about he brought back Terry McLaurin. He just signed a new deal. Now, other things I think are fun to think about are the Super Bowl. And you look at the Super Bowl projections, the Rams a plus 2,000. The Ravens, Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Packers, Commanders, Vikings are the only teams ahead of the Rams. The Rams are ahead of the Niners, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Texans. So I believe in the Ramily, and you should too. So head over to FanDuel. You could do a parlay. You could do a division winner, some dark horses. Lots of fun things to play on. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Want to send a special shout out to those every listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot thank you enough. The season is fast approaching, and I want to send a special shout out, a special thank you to the Ramily out there that's rocked with us, that's rocked with me all off season, through the draft, through OTAs, through training camp, through the dog days of summer. You guys, it's going to be more rewarding when the Rams win the Super Bowl this season, because, hey, the dream is the journey, like Kobe Bryant said. And I know you guys are absolute diehards for your Rams, and when the season ends, you just can't get enough. So I hope that we can fill that void and talk Rams football every single day. And we got the postcast now with my man Michael Brockers and my man Gavin Carlson, the Mob Squad, as we have been affectionately named by Brock, and that's 2 shows a week, so awesome stuff. So before we get back into the 53-man roster projection, we've got an update on Matthew Stafford. So Sean McVay on Matthew Stafford today said, quote, "I can't see into the future, But if you look at what the last week has entailed, feel really good. There's nothing that would leave me to believe, unless we have an unforeseen setback, that he's not going to be ready to roll against the Texans. So we've talked about extensively back injuries. They can be tricky. They can linger. All of a sudden, you don't feel good and you have a major setback. But I don't think that you would hear that verbiage from Sean McVay unless he was confident that he was going to go. Because I think we've learned from Sean McVay through this Matthew Stafford situation that the media is going to run with anything. Guys like myself, anyone that is covering this team, if he says something, they're going to just go all in with it. And I think that was certainly the case here, where he realized that and wasn't going to say anything unless he was confident. If he didn't feel like he was going to play, I don't think he would have said any setback. I don't think that he would have used the words that he did, like, I feel really good. So I feel really good about Matthew Stafford. Now, the next big question is, how will he feel after he actually plays a game? How will he feel when he's actually in the game? And is he getting up and all that great stuff? So I still feel good. I've heard good things too, and that definitely is very encouraging. Now, the one that we were a little more skeptical about was the status of left tackle Alaric Jackson. So rewind quickly on Jackson. The Rams, they have been reluctant to put a timetable on him as he's dealt with the blood clot issue. He got the medication, went back to Detroit, was hanging out in Michigan and resting and relaxing. Then he made it out to Rams camp, and he was doing drills without any contact. And this is a big investment for the team because they signed him to a $57.75 million deal this offseason. But you got just over a week before the season begins, and another positive update from Sean McVay. He told reporters today that Alaric Jackson is on track to participate in team drills for the first time next Monday. McVay also said, quote, all things are pointing to him being ready to go. So does anything else need to be said? I mean, really, though, like, does anything else need to be said? It sounds like things are trending in the right direction, that he is going to be starting and protecting Stafford's blind side against the Houston Texans on September 7th. McVay would go on to say, quote, he's good. He's going to partake in next Monday's practice, Wednesday and Thursday, and then he'll just do the jog through stuff on Friday. We feel really good. I mean, he has put so much work in. I think he's handled it like a total stud, and I'm really happy for him that all things are pointing to him being ready to go and being able to manage this. So the positive thing with this too, on top of everything, was that the Rams, they went out there and they got the Apple Care, right? They got the insurance with DJ Humphries, who they felt could start for this team. But let's say Alec Jackson goes down with another type of injury, right? He has had injuries. Now you have another quality guy you can go to that can go in there, because DJ Humphries is getting snaps with the ones, and he was doing that most of the time. So it's good to see him as a backup tackle, as a quality guy. So no matter what happens, Humphries is going to be on that 53-man roster, and now you're starting to fill out that room a little more. Okay, so let's get back to that 53-man roster and where the Rams are going to go. So next, wide receiver, they take 6, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Xavier Smith, Kanata Mumfield. Who's getting cut? Bryn Covey, Drake Stoops, Brennan Presley, and True Edwards. So nothing too extreme here, because you look at the 6 guys that are in, those guys didn't participate in the final Rams preseason game. And I think this is the easiest group to predict. I truly do. I don't think there's any debates here. You got the top 2 locks, Nacua and Devontae Adams. Whittington's going to be interesting. Xavier Smith, I think, has risen his stock, and he also gets some special teams run. And then we'll see Tutu Atwell. The biggest question about the Rams receivers, as far as depth and snaps go, is will Tutu Atwell get more opportunities? He has that ability to stretch the field, but also he has made some tough catches on crossing routes. For him, it's about opportunities. And with Devontae Adams gonna get a lion's share. You got Puka Nacua, lion's share, right? So there's a bowl there. How many dogs are going to be at that bowl, right? How much food is going to be there for those dogs? So we'll see how they spread around. I think I hope that they spent a significant amount of time this offseason where it wasn't, oh, how can we make Tutu Atwell work because we drafted him when we did. It was more, oh, no, he could have been gone. We wanted him back. We gave him $10 million. So instead of like, can he work? Will he work? Here's a package here. Here's a package there. It's like, no, it's the priority. We will make it work. We are going to go to him, and not because you're forcing the football, because you want a more dynamic offense. I mean, he can stretch. And I think that could open some things up for Puka and Devontae, so they're fresh, so they're making plays throughout the entire season, not having to put this entire team on their back. So I think that there's a lot of benefits to it other than just, oh, let's prove that we can make Tutu work just because we want to look like we weren't wrong when we drafted him when we did and we didn't get Creed Humphreys, right? So I think that there's something there. Whittington's the prototypical Rams receiver, strong, can block, special teams. Xavier Smith, same thing. The one that I'm looking for as the wild card is Kanata Mumfield, and it's probably not going to be in year one, especially with the veterans that they do have, but I'm looking at his growth and just listening to how he performs at practice and just how he continues to develop in this building, and I think that he could certainly be someone next year that could get some more time, and if guys go down, he's someone that I think could pop in there for sure. Now, the tight end spot, you got 4 tight ends. Higbee, the veteran. Ferguson, the rookie. Colby Parkinson, the guy they dropped over $22 million on last offseason. Davis Allen, I still think they like enough to keep him on the roster. Good catch radius, can move the chains. The guys who get cut, McCallan, Castles, Mark Redmond. And Allen, he's the guy that you probably had to think about a little more than the others, but he didn't play against the Browns, so that tells he's safe. And the rest of the group, I mean, they're just not going to be on the 53-man roster. I mean, no offense. They're just not going to be on that 53-man. And it was a pretty crowded tight end room for a minute there, but I just don't think they move on from any of those guys. I mean, you're not obviously your top pick in Terrence Ferguson, and he returned to practice from the groin injury last Monday, and he flashed. I mean, you saw that really nice ball that he caught where he just totally adjusted himself, and I think he's got great body control. There's something about him where he kind of has those receiver-like qualities to him, those receiver-like qualities where he can stretch like that, and I think you kind of look at the small sample, and his PFF grade for his time in there, you got an 81.1 PFF grade, and it was a very small, but it was positive. So for him to get that live action, he also showed some run after the catch in that ability there, and we saw glimpses, and I'm looking for glimpses. I'm looking for the flashes of not just, oh, can you block? Can you hit something crossing? Can you just move the chains? I'm looking for vertical with the ability to have the hands and the body control to make a play, and that's what we saw. What I was looking for, I saw, and I was looking for vertical, and we saw vertical, and I was very impressed, and I've been very high on him, and I think you're going to see Terrence Ferguson make some plays early, and I think that later in the season, I would not be surprised to see him get featured more than Higbee if things go his way. Sean McVay was asked about Terrence Ferguson. We always got to hear what Sean McVay had to say about him. And he said, quote, "It was good. I thought he did a really nice job. He did a good job in the run game. I think he can finish a little bit better on some of those things, and he knows that." We talked about it. I have a lot of confidence in him, not just being a receiving tight end, but a complete tight end. In the receiving stuff, I thought it was cool. He ended up winning on the slot fade where we just missed him. Then he came up to it, and he ended up hitting him on that. The little bootleg where he gets a good run after the catch. He has a good feel and a good tempo to his game. I thought he did well. So I think the stuff that he's really good at, it's tough to teach, but the stuff that he needs improvement on, you can teach. And that is efforting better blocks and being in better positions, kind of find that technique, but you're not going to find a big, bulky tight end. Like Davis Allen could practice 24/7, 365, be on any type of diet, work with any type of speed coach, do anything in his power, and he would not be catching slot fades like that, right? So, I mean, some of this stuff is, I have a good friend who's a personal trainer. His name's Jordan, and I always say, hey, man, like he has a friend who just goes to the gym, doesn't stretch, right? Doesn't stretch at all. Just goes in there, boom, squats 500, boom, benches 400, does crazy stuff. I'm like, bro, he didn't even stretch. He's like, you know what? He's got D-Mac. He's got dem genetics. Okay, so some people have dem genetics, and you just have to appreciate that for sure. But coming up next, more 53-man roster talk. And who's going to make the team? Who's going to get cut? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. This episode of Locked On Rams brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. The NFL season is right around the corner, and you can feel the buzz. Fantasy football season is here. Everyone's researching, drafting, and building their championship squads. If you haven't joined a league yet, now's the time. And it's all happening on Yahoo Fantasy. This year, I'm playing fantasy football on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran creating your millionth league. Yahoo Fantasy is loaded with fun ways to compete and brand new features that make the game even better. With season kickoff on September 4th, now's the time to start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football with offers. So many fun ways to compete. It's just so many fun things to do, so many fun ways and new exciting ways to play fantasy football. Want more ways to play? Try the new Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine League mode, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated weekly until one team is left standing. That's the one that myself and Travis are playing in. Want to play instantly with friends? Try the new Draft with Friends mode. Prefer the classics? Get your crew together and go head-to-head in a private league. No crew, no problem. Join a public league, the easiest way to play. The NFL season kicks off September 4th, so don't wait. Start your league now. Draft now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. That's yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, we're going to run through these super quick here. Offensive line. Here are the makes. Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, DJ Humphries, Bo Limmer, David Questenberry, Justin Dedich, Warren McClendon Jr. Guys who are not going to make it. Dylan McMahon, A.J.R. Curry, Wyatt Bowles, Trey Whittig, Mike McAllister. You've got KT Leaveston. I think is going to be the hardest one to cut. And I think injured reserve, you got injured reserve. You got Willie Lampkin. So I think we know at this point, offensive line, you got Limmer, Dedich, Questenberry, McClendon. All those guys did not play against the Browns. They all played in the first couple of preseason games. But Sean McVay felt good enough about that group to not have them participate in the last one. I think Lampkin's going to go on that injured reserve, and I think he'll be back at some point this season, so I think that's good for him. Defensive line, Kobe Turner, Poona Ford, Tyler Davis, Braden Fisk, Ty Hamilton, Laurel Murchison. Guys getting cut. Desjuan Johnson, Bill Noren, Dejon Terry, the carry is Hawthorne, and Jack Heflin. Johnson, he played a lot against the Browns. They even had him at edge rusher. I think that was a concerted effort to give him some type of chance there. Murchison, though, he didn't play at all despite being 100% a go and being healthy. So he's going to definitely get that spot as the backup there, where Davis and Hamilton and Johnson, I think that you can't completely say it's 100%, but I think that's kind of where it's headed. Outside linebacker, of course, Jared Verse, Byron Young, Josiah Stewart, he's for sure. Nick Hampton. Then we talked about Brennan Jackson getting cut. Then Josh Piercy, Jamil Muhammad. The injury reserved already has Kyer Thomas on it. So Hampton and Jackson, that's the big difference. Hampton in, Jackson out. Inside linebackers, Nate Landman, Omar Speights, Troy Reeder, Chris Paul Jr., and Sean Dolak. So Elias Neal, Tony Fields not making the cut. Sean Dolak, everyone wants to see him on this roster, including myself. He is on. Cornerbacks, Akella Witherspoon, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., Kobe Durant, Darius Williams. I think Josh Wallace is on. I think the guys that get cut, I think Sean Jolly. I think Cam Lampkin. I think A.J. Green, Charles Woods, and Darion Kendrick, who they brought back. I think he gets cut. Kendrick, he's definitely in someone that is not a lock, and he's definitely in danger, which, I mean, definitely hurts for him. He missed the entire 2024 season with that torn ACL. Safeties, Cam Curl, Cameron Kinchins, Quinn Lake, Jalen McCullough, they make the cut, and Tanner Ingle. and Malik Dixon-Williams, they are out. So Tanner Ingle had some moments. He definitely made his best play to make it, but it's not going to be enough. So I think that he doesn't make it. Now, special teams, a lock, which is cool. Joshua Carty, where's my party people? Then we got Ethan Evans, who I think could be the best punter at some point. Then Alex Ward, the long snapper. So no specialists aren't even on the roster. So there you have it. That's your 53-man roster. I'm confident that's how it plays out. And when it's official tomorrow, we will break it down in depth. But wow, I'm so excited. Like college football's officially back this week. The NFL, I mean, let's rock and roll, man. It's go time, Ramley. Get ready, because once it starts, it's a roller coaster. And we're about to truly hop on that roller coaster, and I cannot wait. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.